Hello, I'm Brother Carlo, the Children of Christ Ministry. I guess you would like to know a little more about Brother Carlo, who he is, where he comes from, why he does what he does. For that reason, I want to give you my testimony in some little videos to make clear why I am Brother Carlo. You know, I called it looking for a purpose, because I'm sure everyone of us is looking for a reason, for a purpose, for something which gives him a why, and that's why. So even I was looking for a purpose. And I must start with a nightlife. I was working in the nightlife. Nightlife is, of course, the other side of life, and it was my home for many, many years. For so many years, I was a part of the nightlife. I grew up in Germany, I must admit, and in Germany there are 50% of the people Protestants, most of them Lutheran Protestants, and the other half any kind of Catholic. So I grew up in a Lutheran Protestant family. But that does not mean that everybody in Germany runs to the church on Sundays. This is not the way the German people live. They are far too busy to go to church on Sundays. Church is something for the others, you know. So on Sundays we care for our families maybe, but we do not care for God. Except you're fortunate and happy to find in your family the way to the Lord. And so I was very, very lucky that my mother told me about Jesus Christ and his message. And so I grew up with this message too. But one thing was very important to tell you about this, that in that time I knew God, I knew the Son, Jesus Christ, and I knew the Holy Spirit. That Jesus was the Son, well, that was not very important to me. It would give him some more points, but directly important, so the Son of God is Jesus, it was not the case for me. For me, it was wonderful that he had a message. Jesus was for me the most wonderful prophet this world has ever seen. That was enough for me. If he would have been the Son of God, okay, I would give him some points extra. But as I said, it was not very important to me. So I grew older after these wonderful experiences in my family with my wonderful, absolutely lovely mother. She was a great one. So after that, I tried and managed to fight myself through life. As a young man, I decided to become a restaurant professional. I learned how to be a waiter. Then later on, I became a station waiter, a head waiter, then a maître d'. I learned lots of things about wine, good wines. And finally, I became a restaurant manager. The money that I made was always very, very good. Sometimes, of course, it was not so good. Sometimes it was even better. But it was not important, because every day, again, I made more money. It was a great time for me as a young man. And if money was sometimes not that absolutely fantastic, I started to manage discotheques and clubs and all these kind of things, and I went totally into the nightlife. And in that world, I assure you, everything is available for money. If you needed anything, ask me. I could organize it and I could arrange it. And very interesting in this time was I never ever forgot to thank God in heaven for my professional success. That was important for me. I do not know why, but besides my night life, I think I had another life which always reminded me, hey, there's somebody, there's something which is more important than you, so you better be thankful for what you have. But more and more I realized that I was missing something. It was not perfect. This was not a perfect life. I did not know what it was. I did not know what I missed. I did not know why I felt so empty inside. And so I remember that once I asked God for help to give me something what I missed, even though I did not know what it was. I asked him to show me a purpose, a reason for this life. Oh yes, it was not so that I had to complain about anything, because I was very, very successful. Sometimes more, sometimes less. But as I said, it was something very badly missing, and I tried badly to find out what it was. And again I asked the Lord in my prayers to give me a purpose, because I knew already the life I had was a bad one. So one day after my prayers, there was an answer. I understood it as an answer, even though I couldn't do anything with it. The answer was, be patient. There is a purpose for you. Something will be there for you, and only you can fill that out. There is a real purpose for you. So I continued to pray to the Father, and I waited for this purpose. One day I was offered a job in Cyprus, this Mediterranean island. Wonderful place in the world, south of Turkey, north of Egypt. What was offered to me was a first-class position in a first-class restaurant. And again, I was very successful. Very soon, with the help of this absolute fantastic chef who was working in the kitchen, we made this place the place to go in Cyprus. We were number one on the whole island of Cyprus, and all around the world were people talking about us. We were the address to go to. Again, I was very, very successful. But in the same time, my personal and spiritual situation became worse. And I did again not know how to change it. So I started to pray again to the Lord, and He made clear to me that I cannot serve two masters. And that's what I did, because I served the success. I served the nightlife and the restaurant life, and I tried to serve God as well. It didn't work that way. So I went deeper and deeper in a very depressing situation. And on top of that, I had only work. I had no friends. I had no family. Of course, I had no wife, because this kind of life is not made for that. And I asked God again, where is this purpose, God? You promised to me to give me a purpose, but I asked you now so long and such a long time and so often, maybe you just do not have time for me. Maybe you do not want to help me. So I better stop talking to you, and I better stop praying to you. And from that day on, I did not pray to the Lord anymore. To be continued.